So hey guys, it's Ziant again, and if you're wondering why I'm still posting beta gameplay when the game's coming out in soon, very soon, the answer is I'm getting rid of it, and what I have is not, I wouldn't call it fantastic, subscribe for more epic gameplay, but it functions, and I don't want to let it go to waste, and I wanted to talk about something that bears mentioning with the gameplay you're watching, because this is attrition, and I do pretty well. My teammates do not, and like Call of Duty Ghosts, we just can't win. And I wanted to talk about something that's topical in the Call of Duty community, not that I of course care, but because it's worth talking about. I wanted to talk about Devastation. And I think that while a lot of you probably don't care about Call of Duty, and I care less and less each day, I feel that for whatever reason I should stay on top of things just so I can see what's going on in the community, because as little as I actually enjoy Call of Duty, it's still a game that has occupied, and likely in the future will occupy, a good portion of my time. So simply going around and not caring about what's going on in the community at the very least would be for me a disservice to the amount of investment I have in the series. And looking at the DLC that's come out for Ghosts, especially Devastation, because I haven't played, but I've seen some of the Onslaught stuff, and as far as their decision making with it, some of the Onslaught maps I don't know if I'm on board with, especially the Scrapyard remake. Some of the additions they made to that map were needless. Honestly, you don't need to change the map dramatically to keep it good. Modern Warfare 2 maps, especially, and COD 4 maps as well, they transfer, I think, fairly well. Now, of course, spawn mechanics shift and game mechanics change, but for the most part, a lot of games don't really, Call of Duty games don't change enough that differing maps really change how it works. Now again, I haven't played the map, so I might be completely wrong. And it's the new Scrapyard, whatever it's called, Ignition, I think it is, might be a complete crap pile. But that being said, looking at the maps they've created for the Devastation DLC, I see that they brought back Dome, and I know that there are people who think that Dome is also known as, what is it, Strike Zone. But I think Dome was one of the better Modern Warfare 3 maps, and when they're making a true remake, not just a, we've shifted around some things, we've changed a little bit, it's a point-by-point remake with some new assets, I think they have something going. And the other maps they look really interesting. Like, the maps that in Ghosts that were on release, they were bad. I mean, they were big, didn't look good, and these new maps, they're aesthetically good looking, they're interesting as far as mechanics are concerned, and they have some really cool effects that are going on, especially the giant shovel map. And for me, it bears thinking that when Infinity Ward made this game on their own, they made it with the intention that they would have a ton of feedback from their initial designs. And you have the maps that released with Ghosts, and you have a few months of really significant amounts of feedback from the community saying maps are too big, maps don't flow correctly, this, that, and other thing about the weapons. And so Infinity Ward takes this to heart, and for the DLC they try to rectify the situation. Now, people have said it before, and it bears repeating, that if the core of your game sucks, and I would wager that the core of Ghosts sucks, cool DLC is not going to change that. It's not going to add anything significant to the experience that will make people like me that are pretty much done with the current Call of Duties, it won't make us come back. It won't make us continue playing the series just because that's what we feel like playing. Especially when a game like Titanfall has come out and we know that it runs better on our system. We know that it looks better in general. It has a more fun play style. There's some novelty to it as well. And for the most part, we just have more fun, using that buzzword again, playing it. But I will say that I give Infinity Ward credit. They are trying mightily, I say, to keep their game relevant. And it's not just that Activision has said to them, you have to support this game for an entire year, now do it. I don't think that Infinity Ward is phoning in their DLC. I really don't. They really want people to enjoy Ghosts. I think that a lot of what Mark Rubin says is complete horseshit, and he says it with the straightest face this side of Randy Pitchford. But I really think that the team at Infinity Ward is, for what they have, they're proud of what they created. They're proud of Ghosts for all its flaws, and they want it to succeed. And I think in this DLC especially, you can see that. You can see that they really are invested in the title they've created. Because while, yes, they are taking assets that they previously had access to, Scrapyard and Dome, and reusing them almost point by point, the other maps, they're built from the ground up. Look at this, again, I go back to the shovel map. Look at that map. That single asset, that single piece of equipment probably took at least a week on the part of the modelers, the animators, and the riggers to create, and that's just for one map in one DLC out of 4 or 5. That's a lot of work, a lot of hard, good work that these people are doing. And if they didn't have faith and they weren't invested in their series and in the piece of fiction they created, they would phone it in. These would be shitty ass maps, right? People would not have enjoyed Fog. They would not have enjoyed the Scrapyard remake. They would not have enjoyed the other maps that I don't know the names of. And I've talked about this before. Even when your work is crappy, and even when the products you're shipping are crappy, and even when you absolutely hate your job, you should take pride in the work that you do. No matter how shitty your product, no matter how shitty the workplace, it is on your head. You're in that place for the time that you have, no matter how short or how long you have to be there. You should take pride in what you do. And I'm not saying, of course, that you should take pride in shitty business practices. And I'm not saying, of course, that you should take pride in the fact that your business partner is a complete and total asshole, or that your coworkers absolutely loathe you, or that you loathe your coworkers, or that they love you but you find them appalling. Well, all of these things are not things to take pride in. What you should take pride in is your personal effort on the matter. If you're going to be at work for a week, if you're going to be at work for 10 years, you should be able to say that even though I hated the experience, I wouldn't trade it. Now, there are, of course, jobs where that isn't the case. But with Ghosts and with Titanfall, you can see that the workers at Respawn and at Infinity Ward, they are invested in at least their own personal effort. And because these games are made by teams, you can see that the teams as a whole are invested in the game they have to make. Now, how long Titanfall will be have that investment, we don't know yet. But Ghosts has shown it, Infinity Ward has shown it, despite the utter hatred that I and many others have for that game.